What is going on, guys? Cinema World from Cinema Productions here. Back with a full movie review phase today. Again, I do plan to do some reviews only on films I think I want to take full movie reviews. So, with today's video, I'm here to discuss my full thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And to clarify, I am going to talk about spoilers in this review. Honestly, I think since it's been out a week, I think it makes sense. So I figured I'd give a spoiler warning because I really want to discuss and gush about this movie. So you've been warned. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is, of course, the most recent entry in the MCU in the recent Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is like it being the end of a lot of these characters. As they basically found the Guardians of Bunk on a mission to try and save Rocket's life after he ends up attacked by Moloch, and they're trying to find ways to figure out how to revive him. Also dealing with the High Illusionary and also flowing more on Rocket's backstory. Again, so see that Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely one of the most beloved properties in the MCU, which is kind of interesting because I don't remember when the first movie came out or when it was announced, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy? Who are these people? And the film came out, and it's probably still one of the most critically acclaimed and beloved entries in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And for good reason. I still love the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It's definitely behind like Endgame and No Way Home. It's probably one of the most rewatched films in the MCU for me, and just I think a majority of MCU films are rewatchable in my opinion. So that's definitely saying something, but overall, I adore the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It's definitely one of my favorite MCU movies. And I'm starting to even love Volume 2. While I go a little back and forth on my ratings and everything, I think that's my most recent rewatch. I actually think Volume 2 is also one of the best. That's the first one is better, but Volume 2 has some more genuine emotional moments that I really still... so in person, I love Volume 2. And I pretty much love the inclusions in like Infinity War and Endgame, and even the brief appearance in London Thunder, and of course the recent holiday special. Overall, I do love these characters. Characters are so energetic and fun and great, and these films definitely feel a lot more different than most MCU movies, which is why people love them so much. I mean, especially when living in a superhero world where basically people are experiencing superhero fatigue, but that's more basically from the fact that people just want to see something different instead of the similar things over and over again, which, I mean, it's very warranted. So I obviously was excited for Volume 3 since we're out. It definitely had a lot of ups and downs, especially with the whole James Gunn being fired from it soon, being fired because of posts on Twitter, which is still ridiculous that even like happened. But in the end, I was excited. I did see this movie on it a few years ago as I'm filming this. I saw it in the theaters, which I was very excited for. I think it was all in 3D. And I adore this movie. I really have not stopped thinking about this movie. I truly have not stopped thinking about this movie in the last few days. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is incredible. It's phenomenal. And I couldn't even think of more of a perfect and satisfying conclusion to these characters. Again, when I was on there was still in the MCU, it's definitely a different story. I know there's probably lots of people going to see like Drax and Gamora in this movie, or at least see Dave Bautista and those that have played these characters, but it's finale, at least this is the last time we're going to see some of these characters, or the version of these characters at least. I know this is going to be the last time it's going to be the version of these characters, which is kind of rare to see in superhero movies actually nowadays, if you really think about it. Again, what I always love about these movies is that they're more self-contained, and I feel like they have like set up so many other movies. Like even the little teasers don't really feel like actual setups, honestly. I mean, unless you cut the Adam Warlock thing, but for the most part, they don't really feel like that set up. And like even the post-credits we get don't really like set up other movies. They're just random nods and just fun little things. Like there's so much stuff about this movie. I don't really know where to start, honestly, but I can start with what is probably going to be the most beloved and most interesting aspect of this movie, and that is basically the Rocket Raccoon backstory here that we get in this movie, which, oh my god. I'm pretty gorgeous that Rocket Raccoon is going to have a major focus in this movie, and like a lot of people, like James Gunn himself, Rocket Raccoon has always been my favorite Guardian. I always loved Rocket. I've always loved Rocket as a character. character from how he's developed here. Brad Cooper's great performance, there's a funny one last, but also you can tell something really tragic, emotional is still affecting him that really makes it very compelling to watch. Especially when we went through and also Infinity War and Endgame. He's always become he's probably my favorite out of all the Guardians. And stuff. I do love all the Guardians honestly in many different ways, but Rocket's always been the one that stood out the most to me. And this movie pretty much confirms that. Because I think Black Show was gonna be like an emotional aspect to the movie, but holy shit, I was not expecting how emotional it really was going to be. Like seeing how he was experimented and how he was treated, like Jesus. Like holy shit, what he had to go through after all that, just it's one of the things that makes every emotional moment he had in the previous movies so much more better. In fact, these were already like top tier emotional moments, but somehow they made them so much more better. Somehow they made them like seeing them in a more different way, and once you see it after, it's like, oh wow. And just clarify, with someone that's not related to animal abuse and doesn't like the animals abuse, just stay clear of this movie, just a heads up. But man, the emotion that I felt with all those scenes, which are implemented nicely throughout the movie, was just powerful, man. Powerful. And Bradley Cooper gives his best performance as his character, probably one of his best worked in general here. Just this was cemented Rocket, who's not only my favorite Guardian, but definitely now a top tier MCU character. Like he's now in the Mount Rushmore of MCU characters, in my opinion. Which I'm sure he probably will be for a lot of people after this movie, because I know some people that aren't really like the biggest or highest on Rocket Raccoon, but I just film definitely make you feel differently about this character for good reason. Like everything about Rocket, what he goes through is just fantastic. And the other villains also get a lot of time to shine here. Like Chris Pratt is still great Star-Lord, like the arc goes throughout the movie about Gamora. I wasn't sure how I feel about this version of Gamora in this movie, but I don't. But I've done the more I run along, the more I actually did like this version, especially how much she'd grown in the end of the movie, with her now actually being a Ravager, which I thought was a nice addition. Drax has always been a great character, and I think it's probably the best that Drax has ever been in this franchise. They don't just go for the jokiness that some people actually did hate it in previous movies, but they actually go for some emotional aspects involving this character, which I really enjoy, especially with how the movie ends. It makes it actually make you really different for the role. Very different in certain aspects of the movie involving him, like being a dad, which some people don't get like who he was before the events of the first movie, which I'll talk about more in a bit. And what he did with Nebula was also great as well. And when you think about how much he actually has grown since the first Guardians of the Galaxy, it's actually pretty impressive actually. And Karen Gillan, fantastic. Like something that's more slightly different, trying to be like more of a kind of person, but still having that little bit of a snarkiness to her. And again, her growth is just fantastic. Mantis, I think, is also another character that has gotten a lot better since her initial appearance. And this is definitely the best that she has also been as a character, especially where back and forth with Drax and Nebula throughout the movie. Maybe you also get Adam Warlock here, played by Will Poulter. Well, I will admit he's not as utilized as I hoped he would. He still has some pretty badass moments, and Will Poulter does a really good job. Well, I didn't like the act. I'm not gonna pronounce the actor because I don't want to mispronounce his name. But the actor that played the High Evolutionary, fantastic. A fellow that's just evil, sadistic, charming. A character that could easily just been like an over-the-top, boring, or character that's just kind of evil for the sake of it. But it's really the actor's performance that really elevates his character. I don't know as right now who's gonna be like a top-tier MCU villain. But to a lot of them all villains that are just pure evil for the sake of it, he's definitely the best one of those bunch. Which is really the second much honestly, to be honest, but he at least does have some badass and crazy moments in this movie, and a lot of that mostly is thanks to the writing of the character, but also the performance. From seeing it, you got native filming appearing here, which I thought was a nice addition as well. There's also the best story we see Craggle and Killer that's kind of like more screen time as the film goes on, and he definitely has become a great supporting character. And especially like his kind of little arc with calling him a dog, where he had to call him a bad dog, and he still like takes that very seriously and very hurtful about that, which kind of disappointing moments, but also left a nice satisfying payoff near the end of the movie, which I wasn't expecting, but and that's James Gunn for you. And like with the previous movies, the soundtrack in this movie I thought was fantastic. Again, it's always been the highlight of the movies, and some songs I wasn't expecting. I mean, you got the song them saying "Creep" by Radiohead, which adds a lot to Rocket's like storytelling, which is pretty interesting actually. Like, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. You also got great persons like Reasons by Earth, Wind & Fire, Crazy on You by Heart, Derails by Family List, We Care a Lot. Like, you can get freaking No Sleep Till Brooklyn, which was also running a joke now when it's like the second Chris Pratt movie because it's also used in the Mario movie, which I always thought was a weird thing they actually have No Sleep Till Brooklyn, a Mario movie. So that's kind of interesting, but that led to an incredible one-take action sequence that is definitely one of the best action sequences in the MCU. The new great top-tier action Marvel sequence again. Now in the Mount Rushmore when it comes to Marvel action sequences. But I thought the best use of the song was definitely Dark Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine, which I was not expecting to be in the movie, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. I thought it actually felt nicely, it felt very nicely into the ending scene, which I will talk about in a bit. But you can get, I mean, in the first part you got them saying "Come and Get Your Love," which of course was used in the beginning of the original, which was awesome, but again, like in the previous two movies, the soundtrack, the songs are used very nicely here. They're used very, in a great way. I fucking love these soundtracks. Again, you still get that great zany James Gunn humor in this movie that you expect. This is definitely one of the funniest MCU movies in quite a while, honestly. And I mean that in a good way. Like, it's probably the most I laughed at the MCU, probably since No Way Home, honestly. Like, so many moments that having laughing and gut busting in the theater. Like, I was even going to do. That's why I won't laugh. Like, I was laughing like that, how hilarious the movie is. But again, like with the previous Guardians movies, he knows how to balance the humor with the emotion. Which I know is kind of a common criticism with MCU movies nowadays. But I think James Gunn does it actually the best, honestly. Like, he does that well in the first two Guardians movies, in my opinion, and he does that very well here. Especially when it comes to stuff on Rocket's backstory, which is moments that don't really even have any humor towards them. Like, they have a little heartwarming moments, but nothing that's like humor. As in this movie, especially with how it ends, like, whew, yeah, it's basically about just trying to save Rocket's life, and of course that scene where basically Nebula like gets emotional when she finds that Rocket's alive, like, whoa. And you do get some very emotional moments, especially this one scene involving Nebula, Drax, and Mantis, where the end like on ship starting to say Peter, and then Nebula just gets so at Drax for being an idiot, and Mantis like, he's an idiot, and I was like. And I was like, he's a liability. And it's like, he loves that. And he's like, how is that a liability? And then, I mean, there's like little kids, honestly. And I found Jack actually speaks their language. And guess what? I was like, why did you tell us you use like this whole time? And Jack's like, why didn't you ask? I found my fun to be hilarious. And I don't look at a little untouched stakes to the movie. Again, this one actually has stakes, honestly. Which is also another common criticism in recent MCU movies. Like, because then we'll get more movies, don't feel like that there's actual stakes, but since you know this is probably the last time we're going to see some of these characters, there are genuine stakes here. I think I haven't felt stakes in the previous MCU movies. This is probably the most I really truly felt tense in an MCU movie in quite a while. But again, probably since No Way Home. And of course the best part of this movie is basically how they leave off these characters. They do leave it a tad bit enough to where there's possibly that we could see them in future installments. But enough to basically, this is the last time we actually see these characters. It's an incredible satisfying conclusion. Like, it's an incredible satisfying conclusion to some of these characters. And I could not think of one where basically we see Peter just lead the Guardians to try to lead to Earth, to try to live a normal life, and he needs this emotional seaweedness with his grandfather. Trying to see Mantis trying to focus more on herself and a self-discovery journey. She's against Gamora and the Ravengers, but Giants hurt are very well. and you see never attractive man out of nowhere try to race versus skills running, and we get these fun like dancing with Rocky and Groove with the dancing and drags those and being a dad again, and then again like just I get emotional just thinking about it. Like I could not think of any more satisfying to end these characters. And just halfway well from a great super movie in general, or a great movie in general. Fantastic characters, great character arcs, moments that makes the other moments in the previous movies so much better than they already were. So probably some of the best visual effects that Marvel's had in quite a while, which have been kind of lacking in recent movies, if I'm being honest, which I know that's not a known thing. That's why I feel bad for this visual effects at some point, but these are probably the best that I've been in. Again, Paul's No Way Home, and made Multiverse of Madness to an extent. You get that great zany James Gunn humor that you always love. Honestly, but while having that heart and emotion that really elevates, like some moments that nearly basically had me tearing up. Honestly, like this is a true emotional, devastating experience. And again, he still gets a great action step. He's again with that one take sequence I mentioned, where they go on the ship to try to rescue those kids, and he has a scene that's kind of done in like one take that I thought was pretty cool. And okay, it was pretty bad, honestly. Anyway, I get such a no sleep to Brooklyn playing. It's enough that had me smiling and laughing from ear to ear. It is a true James Gunn experience. And I know this is the last time we're going to see James Gunn in that movie because, well, he's going to be doing DC for pretty much the entire rest of his career. Like, he's pretty much the end of DC at this point, which is kind of insane, but you know. I've always loved James Gunn, honestly. I've never seen his other two. I've seen his other film Slither, which I thought was pretty great, but I have not seen Super, which I still need to get on to that. But everything actually for this guy has just been incredible. Again, these three movies and also the Suicide Squad, which is also one of my new favorite super movies and films in general. Yes, I mean that. You know, he always has that niche style that while it's not going to be for everybody, it's style that definitely is what I always just welcome open arms, because I know I'm always kind of a different and unique experience. Which, yeah, for a lot of people, it's kind of lacking a lot of superhero movies, honestly. It's probably why Quantumania ended up bombing and not getting the best reception. And it's probably why Shazam also bombed as well. The DC thing I mentioned earlier didn't really help either. I mean, he just got to admit himself that he doesn't. The fatigue is more basically the fact that people just want more different stuff with the MCU. They don't want like the same like craziness and up and downs over and over again. They just don't want them to feel like they're just the same old things. So yeah, as you can tell, I adored Volume 3 honestly. I don't really have any major issues that was paced pretty well, the villains were pretty well, how they end these characters was one of the most satisfying things I've seen in quite some time. It's definitely an experience that I'm going to remember for years to come, honestly. Like as right now I'm still debating whether I think it's the best strongest movie, but it's definitely one of the best MCU movies in general. It's definitely going to be a classic for years to come. So in my opinion, it's rock watching A+. It's definitely my favorite movie of the year so far, and again, like someone did a Bambi last year, it's going to take a lot for it from the top that. I mean, a film did top that actually with The Fabelmans, but maybe some film will actually will this year. Maybe I might let Across the Spider-Verse will top this. We will see. As of right now, Volume 3. Perfection. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and let me know down below in the comment section what are your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it. Let me know how to break amongst the MCU or the Guardians films in general. I would love to know down below. And also in the coming weeks I do plan on giving myself an update MCU movie rankings down the road, so stay tuned with that. And once the Erasure comes out, all the episodes I do plan on doing a TV ranking as well, so stay tuned with that. Thank you guys so much for watching, I truly appreciate it. I am 7 World War from 7 World Productions. I will see you next time as always. Stay cool everybody. Peace.